All-Star Batman, issue 3, which is written by Scott Snyder and art by John Romita Jr. And I'm going to say it right now, this was easily the weakest of the 3 issues for me so far.
I straight up don't like this book. But
Just
I need to
just
know how it
just
ends.
just me that likes it then.
Apparently
Yeah.
so.
Because I'm interested to see how it wraps up. And I have a hard time saying no to Snyder Batman, right? Like, I feel like I'm in a abusive relationship, but not like physically, you know?
Yeah.
So, because I don't want to read it. While I'm reading, I'm like, why am I reading this? But then there'll be a little seed in there, and I'll be like, well, I need to see where it goes. And then I remember Jock's coming next. So I was like, well, that's a new arc. So
Well, yeah,
let's,
Joke's certainly a light at the end of the tunnel for me, because I am really not enjoying this art. There's like several
yeah.
times in this with the face, especially when Duke comes in later on in the issue, and it's when they've got their masks off and they're just like regular human faces pose an issue for
For JR,
Junior.
JR.
Yeah, Ramita Jr. For some reason his regular faces just look like so deformed. I'm looking, my God, this.
Do you remember that Superman? When they announced him for Johns as Superman,
Yeah.
and Superman looked like a Neanderthal?
Yeah.
God.
Okay. I will agree. Faces are not his strong point,
My
but overall, I don't mind the art.
Also,
Jesus
art's not his strong point.
Jesus Christ! I'm just looking at some of these faces. My God, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I
Right.
really.
Can we talk about some
You go,
positives?
let us know, Connor, and then we'll volley back. It'll be like a tennis match.
Yeah, give us a positive, Connor.
Return of Harold.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And I will say, the one cool thing I liked was because he is mute and speaks a sign language, the bubbles were tied to his hands, not his mouth.
Mm.
And I will give JR credit. They were like mid motion, almost like when you draw someone talking, it's like mid speech. Here, his hands were mid motion, so there's a little bit blurriness to him and
I think
whatnot.
it works because I think hands often kind of are just there on a lot of
Yeah.
pieces of art, and obviously they had to be the focus of that
Yeah.
panel, and I thought they worked really well there.
Yeah, me too.
Connor, for people who are new to DC Comics, or even not that new, but Harold's not been along for a while. Why don't you explain who Harold is?
Just question: when was the last time we saw him? Because I can't remember.
It's a good question because I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, when?
I'm gonna look this up.
Right, Matt's on the case. You explain who he is while Matt does some fact
So
checking.
as you can see in the issue, he's an inventor and techie sort of guy, and he helps out Bruce, and he was in the Batcave for a long time and did a lot of the stuff kind of Tim kind of started doing.
Yeah, he builds stuff for him. His gadgets. It's kind of like a lot of adaptations of Batman will just have Alfred do a lot of this. But
I feel like it's kind of what they had Lucius do in
Yeah.
in the Dark Knight trilogy.
yeah. Which again kind of work because sometimes Lucius is still someone who supplies those kind of things as well. So it's
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's Wayne Tech stuff. This is a little more different. These are like his under like everyman gizmos and whatnot. You know?
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I said, I think Tim kind of replaced his role for a long time, and it's I genuinely can't remember the last time I saw him. So it was cool to see him back around and in continuity again.
All right, that's a positive. I'm going to hit you with a negative. So this is now the second time that this book has completely kind of, and this one's even worse in a way because last issue we had this whole like build up to like, oh, Gordon's at the manor and they're looking behind the clock, right? All this build up to this big cliffhanger, and then in this issue, the only time it's addressed is Duke says, oh, Gordon can buy the house, as if it wasn't. I mean, he mentions it's a big deal, but he doesn't like imply that he actually found anything, or it doesn't
Yeah,
address.
some cliffhanger there, Snyder.
It feels disjointed. This is my big complaint with the book is the more it goes on, the more I feel like it doesn't really connect together that well.
That's fair, but I feel like I don't need the cliffhangers resolved instantly. If they come in a few issues,
Well, no.
Yeah,
it's
but
not, Connor, it's not that it's not resolved. It's the way it's mentioned does not jive with what I seen in the last issue. It's not.
You could have showed us him finding an empty closet because
Yeah,
that's
like
part of Batman's contingencies.
them.
You know?
Them meant like it would have been better not to mention it at all, because then I just wouldn't have thought about it, and then it could have been brought up later. But this mentioned it, but it didn't present it in the same way. It doesn't feel like it matches to me.
All right, that's fair.
So real quick, the last time we saw Harold fully was in Hush, and
Really? Jeez, that's a long time
he got
ago.
killed by Hush.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so this was him bringing him back.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like, what, 2003, 2004?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez. There you go. Blast from the past.
All right, my turn. Something good. I like the stuff with Bruce and Harvey's kids, and how it paralleled
Oh,
the present. Didn't like it.
not a fan. No. I hate when they do that whole Muppet Babies thing. Oh, we knew each other as kids. And the whole, like, I don't know. I have this idea of Two-Face as, like, so my favorite Bat villains are Two-Face and Poison Ivy, and I feel like with a slight change, they might be used for good, you know?
Mm.
And I feel here Snyder's really darkening Harvey.
But he's
Which
only
makes
he's only
sense with
darkening
the-
half of Harvey, isn't he? It's like the Two-Face side. The Harvey side still comes out and is potentially good.
Yeah, but what's Harvey's plan? Or what's Two-Face's plan here?
That's what I mean. But there's a more distinct split between Harvey and Two-Face in Snyder's writing.
And see, I like when there's a struggle between the two, and not like Tommy Lee Jones terribly and forever, but like where they're like competing for control over the mental capacity and whatnot.
That's
and
fair.
here I just feel like giving him the abusive dad and the origin of the coin. You know, I think I just prefer the Nolan version. Like Nolan cleaned a lot of that up. And the whole make your luck, and that's the reason of the coin.
Or even the
Here are
the animated
tails.
series version.
Yeah,
That's a good version, Two-Face.
but because it's a double-headed coin, right? So he says, you know, tails, it's good things, but there's never. So I just like that was to me. That was like horror movie.
It's a lot more cynical, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and I get giving him a tortured childhood and whatnot, and that's what gives birth to the Two-Face persona. But yeah, it's just not jiving with me
Yeah.
on that level.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think giving the backstory is necessarily a bad thing. It's just, I don't know, there's something about, because comics do this a lot, where they suddenly make it that two characters knew each other as kids.
Yeah.
Especially when it's two people that I never thought did know each other as kids, you know?
We'll see, but it can be used well, like when Loeb did that story the first time that Clark and Bruce met when they're kids, because
Well,
Alfred broke down in Kansas.
Well, I think that works, and I'm not saying it never works, but I think that worked more because it was a chance encounter that both of them don't really remember. It was like, you know, just one random day on a farm, they met each other. Whereas this is like, no, there's actual, like, a story here. There's actual, like, you know, they knew each other for months, and there was a friendship. Which isn't necessarily, again, a bad thing per se, it's just, it's like, oh, so we have this now. I don't know.
Yeah, I get those complaints, but it's something that doesn't bother me, and I just like how it parallels. I enjoyed that personally.
I guess, as with a lot of Snyder's Batman recently, it feels like a lot of retconning going on. You know,
That's fair.
And not the Jeff Johns kind that completely impacts everything, because I feel with a lot of Snyder stuff, you can just skim over it, you know?
I will say I did enjoy. I got a laugh when KG Beast immediately just kills all the Royal Flush Gang. That gave me a chuckle. I enjoyed
And
that.
it was the Royal Flush game from Batman Beyond. Like, the same looks. So I thought that was pretty funny. And also, it just says, I like when they introduce KG Beast, the K and G are slashed out and it just says the Beast.
Yeah, but it's like,
that was
nah,
cool.
it's at the same time, it's like, no, we know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
I did like that bit where KG Beast was fighting, it had like Batman's analysis and stuff. I did like those panels. I thought it flowed really well.
Yeah.
Not such a fan of the Bat Knuckles, admittedly.
Nah, I mean, me neither. I think it's a bit weird how they go back. They're on their way back to the cave at the end of this show,
Yeah.
right? That's where they're going. I'm not mistaking that. They're actually going back the way in this tunnel.
So he got his plane shot down for who knows why. They made it back. It started heading back because Lark got there pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So they're within a drive of the cave. So did Alfred just shoot him out of the sky like as soon as he took off? Like, because he didn't make it that far. In this grand scheme of things, if he's already heading back to the cave.
I'm not
So what was the whole point of all that? Is my main.
I'm not super fussed about the logistics of how far he's travelled because whatever, like, you know, fudge the numbers. I don't care. I just think
they almost tell us, don't they? Because they say it's measured in miles, so they tell us how far he's travelled.
And he got on a train, you know, like, and fought those villains last issue.
Right. So this starts with the mile marker 171. I'm sure we're in the 200s last time.
Yeah. So my just whole point is, what's the point in setting the mile markers if you're just going to end up back at 0?
Well, it ends at 222, so it doesn't seem like it's counting down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's the problem with the book. I just don't know what the hell's going on, besides Two-Face wanting to become the main personality all the time. Like, that was it.
So yeah, they're in their secret bat tunnel on the way back, which would that not have been handy to use on the way there? Like, just use this secret
I
tunnel?
think the water only flows one way.
Ah, okay, alright, fair. I'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
But,
Poor planning on Batman's part, if that's the case.
oh yeah, it should change the current of the water.
It was used as a one-way delivery system. It wasn't supposed to be for this.
Oh dear. Yeah, so the issue ends with Two-Face seemingly blinding Batman by pouring acid in his eyes?
I think so.
Over the lenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'll be hard to get out of his. He's got like, you know, like lenses or something over the front of his eyes, but
Yeah.
Did either of you read the backup this time?
Nope.
I did. I read it last time as well. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Pete's always been reading it. I don't. It's
Okay, I thought it was both of you.
No.
I'm sorry, Pete. I'll lay you off this one.
Give me peace. What did you think of the backup then?
Yeah, it was alright. It was a bit simplistic, I think, compared to the last couple.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say. It's just Duke figuring something out while we get flashbacks of him and his mother.
Yeah. It was very
just
straightforward, though, compared to the others.
Yeah.
That's cool. I might go back and read them later. But, like, I got so invested in Harper, and then she kind of just disappeared. I don't want to do the same with Duke.
I feel like, at least for Duke, though, he's being used in the other books, whereas Harper wasn't.
That's true.
Yeah, basically
That's
all that really happens is that he figures out that the woman that survived because she swapped like a jacket with someone else and the wrong person got killed, you know, and that's why Zaz is still after her.
Man. Also, we didn't touch on the issue, like, there might be a cure to Duke's parents.
Yeah, I forgot they were still like that, though, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. But you just reminded me when you said about the Zaz stuff. So, but they don't even touch on that. That's like a throwaway line almost.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, don't trust cures. And then moves on.